the Discourse on the Blameless Path, Apaṇṇaka Paṭipadā. Dear meritorious devotees, dear children of virtue, you may already know about the great benefactor Anathapindika. He was a very wealthy businessman and a noble disciple who had attained the Sotapanna stage, the first stage of enlightenment. He purchased a most beautiful park in the city of Savath, which belonged to Prince Jeta, by spreading gold coins over the ground. He built there a splendid monastery, complete with meditation huts, resting places, ponds, walking paths, assembly halls, fragrant chambers, and all necessary facilities. He offered this great monastery, known as Jetavana, to the Blessed One, the Buddha, as a supreme act of generosity and devotion. Anathapindika's friends. Anathapindika had many friends who were also businessmen engaged in various trades. However, they were not lay followers who had taken refuge in the Triple Gem. Instead, they were disciples of other religious sects. One day, Anathapindika spoke to them and said, "My friends, this time you must fulfill my request. Let us go and pay homage to the Blessed One. I have prepared flowers, incense, and the 4 requisites as offerings for all of you." So, accompanied by 500 friends, Anathapindika went to meet the Buddha. They made offerings and paid respects not only to the Buddha, but also to the Sangha of monks. They had the opportunity to listen to the Dhamma. Although they did not fully understand its profound depth, their hearts became joyful and serene. They abandoned their former refuges and took refuge in the Buddha. From that day onward, they regularly visited the monastery with Anathapindika, listened to sermons, offered alms, undertook the precepts, and lived as devoted lay disciples. Their faith declines. Later, the Blessed One departed from Savath on a journey and traveled to Rajagaha. When this happened, Anathapindika's friends began to come less and less to the monastery. After some time, they returned to their former ways. They went back to the old sectarian teachers, sought refuge again in wrong paths, and broke their refuge in the Triple Gem. The Buddha returns. When the Blessed One returned again to Savath, those 500 friends once more accompanied Anathapindika to pay homage to the Buddha. They again took refuge in the Triple Gem and abandoned their former teachers. Then Anathapindika respectfully informed the Buddha, "Venerable Sir, Blessed One, these friends of ours have behaved wrongly. They were devoted only while you were present. They maintained refuge only during that time. They listened to sermons, offered alms, and observed precepts. But when you departed on your journey, something happened. No one came anymore. Later, I learned that they had broken the noble refuge and fallen back again into the former wrong paths. The 500 lay followers stood in great shame, looking down at the ground. The Blessed One asked them, 'Householders, is it true that you broke the refuge in the Triple Gem and returned again to other teachers?' They replied, 'Yes, Venerable Sir, we committed that fault.'" The Buddha's teaching. The Blessed One then said, "Householders, this happened because you could not truly recognize the Tathagata. You could not recognize the Dhamma. You could not recognize the noble Sangha. This triple refuge has the power to free beings from the suffering of the 4 lower worlds. It can lead to rebirth in heavenly realms and great divine happiness. It can even carry one beyond samsara to liberation. To abandon such a refuge is a great loss, a heavy and serious loss. The Buddha begins a past story. The Buddha continued. In the past also, foolish people were deceived by misleading beings. They followed wrong paths, became lost in great deserts, and met destruction. But wise people recognized the correct path, crossed safely, and reached security. At that moment, Anathapindika rose from his seat, worshipped the Buddha with folded hands, and said, "Venerable Sir, Blessed One, this story about our friends breaking refuge is well known, but the ancient story you mentioned, about people deceived in a desert and others saved by the blameless path, is unknown to us. Please, Venerable Sir, preach that story to us." Then the Blessed One revealed the ancient tale as follows. Part 2. The Desert Journey of the Caravan Leader, Bodhisatta. The Discourse on the Blameless Path, Apaṇṇaka Paṭipadā. The Story of the Past. The Blessed One said, "Householder, this is how it happened. Long ago, in the kingdom of Kasa, in the city of Varanasi, there was a king named Brahmadatta. At that time, the Bodhisatta, the Buddha to be, was born into a family of caravan merchants. When he grew up, he became a skilled and wise leader of traders. He conducted trade with 500 carts, traveling sometimes to the east and sometimes to the western desert regions. Now, in Varanasi, there was another caravan merchant. But unlike the Bodhisatta, this man was foolish and lacked wisdom. He carried out his trading in a competitive and reckless manner. 2 caravans prepare to depart. One day, the Bodhisatta loaded valuable goods onto 500 carts and prepared to journey westward for trade. At the same time, the foolish merchant also prepared his own 500 carts, intending to travel in the same direction. The Bodhisatta thought, "If this merchant travels together with me, both groups will face hardship. There will not be enough grass for the oxen, and resources will be scarce. Therefore, one caravan must go first, and the other must follow later." So the Bodhisatta spoke to the other merchant. "Friend, if we both travel at the same time, it will bring difficulty to us both. Therefore, one of us should go ahead, and the other should follow later. Tell me, will you go first, or shall I?" The foolish merchant goes first. The foolish merchant thought, "If I go first, I will gain many advantages. My oxen will find fresh grass. We will find fruits and vegetables for cooking. Water will be easily available, and I will reach the markets first to sell my goods." So he said, "Very well, friend. I will depart first." And he set out early with great excitement. The Bodhisatta chooses wisdom. The Bodhisatta reflected, "That is good. When I depart later, my oxen will be able to eat the fresh grass that grows again after the first caravan has passed. We will benefit from the water sources they prepare, and we will still be able to sell our goods at the same market price. Thus, the foolish merchant left first, joyfully leading his caravan into the journey. Entering the fearful desert. Soon, the foolish merchant's caravan reached the great desert. It was a dry and waterless wasteland. As far as one could see, there was only burning sand under the blazing sun. There was no water, no food, no shade. And in that terrible desert lived deceptive non-human spirits, Apaṇṇaka, who misled travelers, trapped them, and devoured them. The caravan had to cross a desert of 60 yojanas in length. Now, the foolish merchant's caravan entered this dreadful wilderness. The spirits create an illusion. The spirits saw them and waited until the caravan reached the middle of the desert. Then they created a magical illusion. They appeared as handsome young men riding carts, drawn by pure white oxen. They wore garlands of lotus flowers dripping with water. Their clothes were wet, their hair was soaked, as though they had just emerged from a pond. Even the wheels of their carts were covered in mud. Laughing, singing, and eating lotus roots, they approached the caravan. The deception begins. The leader of the caravan had the responsibility of guiding everyone safely. That day, the wind was blowing from the front, so the foolish merchant walked at the head of the caravan. As he approached, one of the spirits stopped his cart by the roadside and called out, "Ah, where are you people going?" The caravan leader stopped and replied, "Friends, we have come from Buddhist, but you, having bathed well, wearing lotus garlands, dressed in wet clothes, eating fresh lotus roots. From where have you come? Is there a lake with blooming lotuses ahead?" The spirit laughed and said, "Why do you ask such a question? Just a little further ahead, there is a thick blue forest. Streams are flowing, ponds and lakes are full of water. We have just come from there. Where are you traveling to?" The merchant replied, "We are traveling to such and such a region." The spirit asked, "What are all these goods you carry?" The merchant said, "Cloths, pots, toys, and merchandise for trade." Then the spirit pointed behind and asked, "And what are those heavy carts being pulled at the back?" The merchant replied, "Those are our water carts. In the desert there is no water, so we have filled them with water." The fatal advice. The spirit said, "O friend, it was good that you carried water until now. But beyond this point, water is unnecessary. Do you not see how we are drenched, as though we have bathed? Pour that water away. Your oxen will feel lighter, the burden will be less, and the journey will be easier. This year there has been plenty of rain." With those words, the spirit departed and vanished from sight. The Discourse on the Blameless Path, Apaṇṇaka Paṭipadā. The foolish caravan's downfall. The foolish caravan leader was completely deceived by the spirit's trick. Believing their false words, he ordered, "Pour out all the water." So the water jars were emptied onto the sand. The caravan then continued forward, feeling lighter and hopeful, expecting soon to reach the lush forest, ponds filled with lotus flowers and abundant water. But alas, as far as the eye could see, there was only burning sand. No forest appeared. No ponds appeared. Not even a single drop of water could be found. Suffering in the desert. Soon, the people became unbearably thirsty. The oxen also had no water. By evening, everyone's throats were dry, their mouths parched. The oxen began to collapse from thirst. The men became dizzy and faint. There was nothing they could do. Night began to fall. The caravan halted and arranged the 500 carts in a circle for protection. Some weak travelers fell asleep wherever they collapsed. The caravan leader sat trembling helplessly. The spirits attack. In the deep of night, the non-human spirits returned. They surrounded the caravan. They killed every ox. They killed every man. They drank their blood and devoured their flesh. Only bones were left scattered across the desert sands. Thus, the foolish caravan was completely destroyed. The Bodhisattva sets out. After a month and a half, the Bodhisattva departed with his own caravan of 500 carts. When he reached the edge of the same desert, he addressed his workers. "Friends, we are now entering a desert journey of 60 yojanas. Remember carefully, do not throw away even a single drop of water without telling me. This desert contains poisonous fruits and dangerous plants. Do not eat anything without consulting me." The spirits return with the same illusion. The spirits waited until the Bodhisattva's caravan reached the middle of the desert. Then, just as before, they created the same illusion. White oxen, wet garlands, soaked clothing, lotus roots, laughing and singing. They approached and spoke the same deceptive words. Just ahead is a thick forest, streams flowing, ponds full of water. Why carry such a heavy burden of water? Pour it away. Then they vanished. The workers are tempted. The caravan workers said to the Bodhisattva, "Noble sir, did you see those men? They are eating lotus roots and singing joyfully. Surely there is water and forest ahead. Why should we carry this unnecessary burden of water? The oxen suffer under its weight. Let us pour it away and travel easily." The Bodhisattva investigates wisely. The Bodhisattva stopped the caravan and gathered everyone together. He asked, "Friends, have you ever heard that there are forests and ponds in this desert?" They replied, "No, noble sir, but those men said so. The Bodhisattva questioned further. If heavy rains had truly fallen, how far would a cool breeze travel? They answered, about 10 kilometers, 1 yodunak, noble sir. The Bodhisattva asked, did even one of you feel the slightest cool breeze? They replied, no, noble sir. He continued, if rain clouds were present, how far would they be visible? They said, about 1 yojana. He asked, did anyone see rain clouds? They replied, no, noble sir. He questioned, when lightning strikes, how far can it be seen? They answered, up to 5 yojanas. He asked, did anyone see lightning? They replied, no, noble sir. He asked again, when thunder roars, how far can it be heard? They answered, 1 or 2 yojanas. He asked, did anyone hear thunder? They replied, no, noble sir. The Bodhisattva reveals the truth. Then the Bodhisattva declared, friends, those were not men. They were non-human spirits. They lied to deceive us. While speaking with them, I observed carefully, they did not blink their eyes. They cast no shadows. Even their carts and oxen cast no shadows. They showed only an illusion. Their plan is to trick us into pouring away our water so that we become weak with thirst, and then they may kill and devour us. A firm instruction. The Bodhisattva warned, therefore, friends, remember well, do not waste even a single drop of water. Let us hurry forward and complete this journey safely. They discover the bones of the first caravan. By evening, the Bodhisattva's caravan reached the very place where the foolish caravan had camped before, and there they saw a horrifying sight. Bones scattered everywhere. All had been devoured by the spirits. The Bodhisattva quickly organized the camp. He fed the people and the oxen immediately. He placed the oxen safely in the center. He armed the strong men with swords. All night long, they stood guard. The Bodhisattva himself walked around the caravan until dawn, crossing safely. The next day, he gave food again. He abandoned the weak carts and took the stronger ones left behind. He left behind lesser goods and filled his carts with valuable merchandise. Then, swiftly, he completed the desert crossing. He traded successfully and returned safely to Varanasi in peace. The discourse on the blameless path, Apaṇṇaka Paṭipadā. The Buddha explains the meaning. After relating this ancient story, the Blessed One addressed Anathapindika and said, "Householder, did you see? Even in the past, those who could not think wisely were led into great destruction. But those who reflected correctly escaped the grasp of non-human beings, completed their journey, and returned safely." the danger of blindly following others. The Buddha continued, "Those who accept the words of others without careful examination do not realize their danger until they are completely trapped. They argue and speculate. They believe what appears outwardly to be true, but the real truth is entirely different. Because the caravan followed the Bodhisattva's wise guidance, they were saved." The Blameless Path. The Blessed One then declared, "That practice is called the Apaṇṇaka Paṭipadā, the blameless path, the faultless practice, the correct and secure way." The Buddha's own teaching. The Buddha said, "Tathagatas develop and teach this very blameless path. Through it, one gains rebirth in fortunate realms. Through it, one attains the path and fruition. Through it, one reaches nibbana." The wrong path. He further explained, "The wrong practice is called the Apaṇṇaka Paṭipadā, the faulty path. Through that path, one gains only suffering, rebirth in the 4 lower worlds and miserable destinations." The identities revealed. Then the Buddha concluded, "Householder, in that time, the foolish caravan leader was Devadatta. His followers then are the same followers he has today. The wise caravan leader was I myself, and the caravan that followed him then is the same Buddha's community today." The result for the lay followers. Dear meritorious devotees, dear children of virtue, through hearing this discourse, those lay followers understood that the triple refuge is truly the blameless path. They realized that believing there is refuge outside the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha is like being deceived by spirits in the desert. They clearly understood the supreme protection of the Blessed One, and all of them attained the fruit of Sotapanna, stream entry. Final reflection. Even today, how many people are there who find the correct path, yet later abandon it and fall back into wrong ways?